Breaking right now, it's only taken years, but the Daily Mail has finally gone there, albeit in a very watered-down, sanitised version. But this from Liz Jones across the Daily Mail around the world today. Meghan's mood board spawned feverish speculation if she used a surrogate or wore a fake bump. These cruel whispers have been spread for years. It's time to address them. Well, I'm going to address this column by Liz Jones today with royal YouTube sensation according to Taz. But Tash, I was a columnist at the Mail for a number of years. I know how the mainstream media works, and this is their way of getting the Moonbump story, the Meghancies out there, while at the same time they're having to do that. Oh, we're horrified about this. Of course it can't be true. Of course you're just a conspiracy theorist if you think this. Well, okay, why is it top of your website then? Feels like a significant moment, Tash. What do you make of it?
I think they're definitely adding fuel to the fire. These conspiracy theories have been going on for a long time. I believe Meghan, by adding that particular photograph to her, I don't really know what you call that board. It was less of a celebrating her anniversary, and it was more like a teenage girl's pin board, you know, when she's looking forward to going to college. But the fact that she included that picture, it's of course drawn more speculation back to the fact that not many people believe that Meghan was pregnant and she used a surrogate. And the fact that there are more and more people, like you said, in the mainstream media doing the whole shock horror, how dare people say these things? I think you're exactly right. I think it is people beginning to actually be more public about the fact that it does generally point into the direction that Meghan had a surrogate with Harry. Yeah.
Because what's so interesting is the sort of call to action, Tash, at the end of the article from Liz Jones, and we will go through it as I say, but it's to pressure Meghan and Harry to release a statement, to confirm. That's all I've been asking for a very long time. If you're not hiding anything, let's see the proof.
Come clean. It is a case of saying that, isn't it? It's saying, come clean. If you've got nothing to hide, then, then what's the big deal? But the problem is they've built up so many. This is Harry and Meghan themselves, not the media, not the public, not people like, myself or yourself on social media. Harry and Meghan have stirred up so much stuff from the moment that the pregnancy was originally announced. Of course, there is lots of speculation, which I've always found so bizarre from Harry, because lots of cruel rumours went about his childhood, that King Charles is not his father. And, those rumours are still going strong now. And I can imagine that probably upset him. But because of all of the games that they played with the media over the secrecy of Archie's birth, the doctors not signing the certificate, not using the Queen's doctors, it has, of course, created, I would say, even a more dramatic storyline, because the more it became obvious that they weren't telling the truth and these stories were coming out, the more Harry and Meghan were saying, oh, we're being targeted, we're being trolled. But you started the controversy by playing all of the games.
Oh, they did. They did indeed. And the fact that it's Liz Jones who has written this column, she was previously a big ally of the Sussex squad, has turned a bit in recent months. It is interesting. So let's go through it, Tash. This is how the mainstream media works. It's like, okay, we want to cover the story, but at the same time, we've got to hedge our bets and we've got to talk about the other people who are covering the story as if they're terrible people. So Liz Jones writes, it has prompted suggestions that her decision to post that particular picture was not rooted in whimsy, but to quash the unfounded rumours that have swirled from the moment she announced she was pregnant with her elder child in 2018 that she is not a real mom. Yes, you read that correctly. Over the past 7 years, conspiracy theorists have claimed that she has never been pregnant and that she wore a moonbump, a prosthetic belly, to pretend that she was. Some have even gone so far as to claim she hired a surrogate to carry both Archie and Lilibet, or even that she has hired two tots to help sell jam and flour sprinkles. These ludicrous theories are, of course, utterly baseless, but instead of putting out the firestorm, Meghan's latest pregnancy shot has lit the blue touch paper. Self-proclaimed social media sleuths have claimed her bare bump is too shiny, far too high, transparent, and even suggested you can see the straps of a prosthetic belly. They claim that even the ultrasound picture doesn't wash, as there is no hospital name, reference number, date, or ID. So let's just tackle that to begin with, Tash, because if we look at the bump pictures, and I've annotated them a little bit because I haven't done it actually. One of my producers has done it because he's a bit of an expert in this stuff. And he said you can see there that is the real line of her stomach where that white line is. And all of that area you see in the white there is connected to blur, which is because the image has been manipulated. Now, Tash, I'm sorry, I've been called a conspiracy theorist so many times over the past 5 years, right, since COVID, on a whole range of issues. And on virtually every single one of them, I've been proven to be correct. So I actually try not to use the term. I sometimes struggle, and I do, but I try not to use the term conspiracy theorist, because all I think a conspiracy theory means is you are digging down to reveal, to expose a cover-up that the mainstream media doesn't want to do. And if you look at some of the work that people like Lady Colin Campbell and Paula M have done, I mean, that a lot of this is rooted in real facts.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I speak from a woman. It's awkward for me to sometimes talk about this subject because I have not given birth myself. So I haven't been pregnant. But I have had a lot of friends and family members. I was there for one of my bestest friends. I was actually her birthing partner. I have been as close to birth as I'm willing to go. So I have seen pregnancy across multiple friends and family members over the years in every single stage. And it just never made sense with Meghan. So I'm talking from an opinion based, but I've also spoken to people that are midwives as well, people that have looked into the labour stories as well as these photographs. Dan, this picture is quite significant as well, because this is the only one that I have ever seen of Meghan with a bare stomach. She's not wearing clothes covering it up. And that's why I think that she's deliberately done this to stir it up. It's also a very dark photograph, isn't it? It's almost like a shadow. It makes it easy to manipulate. And I honestly don't think that this is going to dispel any rumours whatsoever that she used a surrogate and that is a Moonbump. But I'm torn whether this is Meghan deliberately stirring it up because she likes to stir things to get people to talk about it. But come on, this is Meghan that loves having her photograph taken. Do you not think if she honestly wouldn't have had her moments on the steps like Diana did, you know, she would have had pictures, photo shoots done like Demi Moore or even Beyonce when she was pregnant with the twins, covered in the flowers like they were the first women to ever experience pregnancy. And we didn't get any photos of Meghan being pregnant outside of, you know, obviously wearing clothes, apart from this brand new one, never seen before, the same as we're now beginning to hear the stories every podcast. She's got a new pregnancy story with every single episode. And of course, none of it adds up to the previous stories that we've heard from Harry or Meghan, or even when we date back to the mainstream media newspapers and people like yourself that were covering it in real time.
Well, yeah, because this is a thing, Tash, before any of the Moonbump speculation reached me, my reportage on all of this when I was executive editor of The Sun, and I got Buckingham Palace to respond on the record, was all about, I'm sorry, why did you lie to the world about the birth? Why did you lie about the timing of the birth? Why did you lie about the location of where you were? It was dodgy. Something stank. And you don't lie in a case like that unless there's something to hide. That's just the reality. And what I would argue is I would say the mainstream media haven't really done their job properly on this over the last sort of few years. But look, let's go on with what Liz Jones had to say. She wrote, personally, I think a montage of photos collated by a grown woman is mawkish. But to think that Meghan and by extension Harry has embarked on an elaborate heist is ludicrous. There is no way such a deceitful act, which ridicules our royal family as well as the British people, could be pulled off. We helped pay for their wedding in 2018. We waved them on at royal visits. I had sympathy for Meghan when she revealed she had experienced suicidal thoughts in that Oprah Winfrey interview in 2021. Meghan is a smart cookie. She knows what sells these days is authenticity, stories of personal misery. If she had been unable to conceive naturally and used a surrogate, we would have all been by her side. Now, Tash, that's where I have to cut in immediately, because that's where Liz Jones has got this one very, very wrong. Because absolutely not. If Meghan had admitted that, her children would not be in the line of succession. They might have an honorific title, but all she has ever wanted is for the kids to be in that line of succession so that her hopes of one day passing the British throne down through her line is not ruled out.
I don't know. There's a bit of me. I mean, I do completely agree with you, but I remember when the Queen changed a law back in 2013, and it was so if Princess Charlotte had been born first, that she would have been able to be Queen, rather than the old laws would have been if Prince George was second, he would have become king, because it's the patriarchy, it's passed down that way, and the law was changed. And there's a bit of me that thinks Queen Elizabeth was a very modern woman. And yes, it is a very, very old law. People had to witness if you were a virgin before you were even allowed into a royal marriage. There were countless people in the room, let alone obviously being, giving birth to a child that's going to be in the bloodline, and being in the royal succession. But I do wonder whether if Harry and Meghan had truly been honest, whether perhaps Queen Elizabeth would have thought about changing the laws to say, this is something that affects lots of couples. There are plenty of couples out there that sadly cannot conceive naturally. And I think in the modern world, perhaps something would have been changed. But it's the fact that I believe that Harry and Meghan have lied. In my personal opinion, I believe that they lied. And I believe that the royal family didn't join in on this big cover up. I think that they lied to the royal family. And by the time the royal family found out, it was too late, because what could they then do? Come out and say, well, actually, Harry and Meghan have lied. Could you imagine? Of course they wouldn't. And then they've had to go along with what I believe has been a bit of a lie.
Yeah, because Liz Jones then goes on to say she has been so open about her mental health and her miscarriage in 2020 that if she had had a problem with infertility, she would have put the issue front and centre. Only the most mean-spirited would have judged her. So yes, I agree, the bump is enormous. Meghan's angles didn't puff up in pregnancy. But clearly, she's just lucky. Maybe her Pilates sessions helped her to crouch effortlessly. Oh my goodness, I just imagine telling Lady Colin Campbell about that one. Now, Liz Jones goes on. As readers of my columns will know, I have not always been Meghan's most gushing advocate, but we must remember that she is a human being. These pregnancy whispers are going too far. And here's the key line, Tash. That is why I fear Harry and Meghan must be compelled to release a statement. That's all it would take to put out the wildfires. Harry has stood up for his wife against the mainstream press, but the relentless hounding from these amateur sleuths is far worse. Snuff it out now. Well, firstly, can I just say, Harry and Meghan did absolutely nothing when it came to their amateur sleuths in the Sussex squad, completely running a whole load of lies about Catherine, the Princess of Wales, when she was suffering from cancer, including their big-time favourite, Christopher Boozy, saying that even the pictures of her at the farm shop, even the BBC video announcing the cancer was using a body double. So it's like, for the suggestion to be that, the amateur sleuth are only on one side is utterly ridiculous. And actually, why should we just leave this to the mainstream media? The mainstream media has let us down time and again on a whole range of stories. And this is a new world.
I think think with Harry and Meghan constantly preaching about the truth and putting the truth out there and misinformation and disinformation, this is a pretty huge story, really, isn't it? I believe it has been a big cover up. Now, either way, personally, as I said, I think there's so many couples out there that do struggle with being able to conceive. And I think that the world would have rallied round them. They would have supported them. I think that Harry and Meghan could have done an absolute wonder for couples if they had been honest about it. But it's the deception and it's how far it went. And it's just been everything to do with the children has been a continuous string of misinformation. And for a couple that say they want to protect their children, this is what I do not understand. They seem to court more controversy. There's more whispers about the children than what there ever were about Harry, with Diana, and James Hewitt being his father. And Harry and Meghan have actively courted all of this, from the silly games that they play with hiding them and photoshopping them, and then obviously with the birth, especially Archie, with that she did give birth, and then she'd given birth, what was it, several hours before. She'd had 2 epidurals, and then she was home within 2 hours, and now we've learned that she'd suffered from post dangerous, what was it, the eclampsia. And I'm sorry, no woman after 2 epidurals is just walking out of hospital a couple of hours later, sent on her merry way. I believe even one of the stories that Harry said the cord had got stuck around baby Archie's neck as he said, "Push, my love, push." I mean, no doctor or midwife in their right mind would see a scenario like that and allow a husband to say to the wife, "Push, my love." It's every single story that's come out from both of their mouths has just created more of, like you said, I don't agree with the conspiracy, but it's raised a lot more questions. And Liz Jones, she's a real flag in the wind. I'll be honest, I didn't read the article because I don't read a lot of Liz Jones articles, because I'm like, oh, here we go. It's another sugary, sweet Sussex Squad style. So that's actually quite shocking. But I do agree with you. It is a way that I think you are beginning to see people in the mainstream media saying, come on, if you've got nothing to hide, just be honest. Put a statement out there. But then even if they did put a statement out there, who's going to believe anything that comes out of their mouths these days?
Very true. Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier, Tash, about how Meghan is constantly finding ways at the moment to speak about her pregnancy. And she did so again this week.
She is. And did you notice there was that millisecond of like, when I had both babies, that's what it was that I had. There's almost a pause there with that. But these stories coming out now with every podcast that she's doing. Harry and Meghan have had every opportunity to talk in interviews and previous podcasts and on Oprah and any other time that Harry and Meghan have done their cutesy stories. We've heard every single intimate detail, things that I wish that I could pour bleach in my ears for, about Harry peeing himself before he went on a date with Meghan, and just all sorts of gross things that they have definitely overshared. But when they were sharing every single detail with the world, we never heard any of the cute stories or the funny stories that come with pregnancy, right? I mean, as I said, a lot of my friends have had children, family members. There's funny stories, there's embarrassing stories. There's never been anything from Harry and Meghan. And I do not believe, oh, we were keeping those stories just for us. And now Meghan all of a sudden is now every podcast. Oh, I had this, I had that. And it just, again, it just doesn't add up. Why have they never spoken about any of the stories, the cute stories that, pregnancy does bring a lot of joy to the majority of women. Sometimes it can be very tough for some women, but they've never disclosed anything. This is a new thing. And this is only now happening because Meghan's latest skin that she shed, she's like a lizard person. She's onto this new personality. And that is that a mum is the only title in the world that she cares about. She's a mummy entrepreneur. And now all of a sudden everything is babies, children. And it doesn't seem natural from her at all.
Yeah, it's where the money is. That's why. Now,
yeah.
Look, Tash, can we just take a look at Catherine, the Princess of Wales, today?
Oh, please,
The
always.
official naming ceremony of the HMS Glasgow. I think she smashed a whiskey bottle against the hull. And I'm also pretty certain this is the first time that she's done this. I think it's been pretty iconic in the past, for example, when Princess Diana named ships. So very wonderful that she was there for that. And of course, it tops off an exciting week for Catherine because she has been named alongside William in the Time 100 as one of the philanthropists of the year. Now, of course, this has been a massive blow for Prince Harry and Meghan, who hope to make the list. I mean, the fact that Meghan even attended the Time 100 summit and dragged her husband along shows how desperate she was. Now, you have posted on the fact today that we've heard about some small charity donation from Prince Harry. You've written, "This is why we are hearing about Harry's latest charitable donation. Get ready to hear about a few more." And this was very odd, wasn't it? Because People magazine, which is like his latest favorite publicity shill outfit, wrote that Prince Harry, the go-to, exactly, shocked a UK charity with a major donation amid vow to continue charity work despite security loss. Now, I mean, what a spin that is, as if like, oh, because he's lost his security, that might mean he can't continue his charity work. I mean, come on, he's not paying for his own charity work, plus he's worth tens of millions of dollars. So the security loss has absolutely nothing to do with it. And more to the point, like, this donation, is it a really big deal? He's donated £10,000, I think it is, Tash. I mean, when you compare that to the absolute incredible article that Time has written about Catherine and William's efforts, £10,000 is small fry.
I haven't read the article in full myself, but it did make a reference in there of the Duchess of Sussex gave 10,000 back in 2020 towards the very same organisation. And I thought, this is Meghan that's probably run out quickly and got this out in People magazine rather than it being Harry. I don't think it did say, I might be wrong, you can correct me if it did say that Harry has done another 10,000, but it's just the fact that donate, go do it. If you want to put good into the world and do it, but why do a press release with everything? I'll tell you why. They have done that as a quick return. They saw, Catherine and William have been named as philanthropists. Quick, we better put a post out there. You know, it's no different to anything else. You know, Catherine gets a rose named after her. Meghan is seen carrying a rose the next day or chopping up roses. It's this constant game. Whatever story seems to come out about Prince William or Catherine, then give it 24 hours, sometimes less. I say that since Meghan's been on Instagram, it seems to be like you can count down within the hours. There is going to be another story that comes out. Like, again, we saw recently, Catherine was trending wearing that beautiful Victoria Beckham suit. Then bang, a few hours later, Meghan and Harry were having dinner with Brooklyn and Nicola Beckham. And it's just so pathetic and obvious at this point, Dan. You can literally synchronize your watches to it. I'm sure Meghan will find a small dinghy that she can smash a bottle of champagne up against tomorrow at the Montecito Yacht Club.
Yes, indeed. She'll be absolutely furious, won't she? And oh my goodness, I've got to show you one other William moment, which came from this absolutely...
I'm always happy for those, Dan.
Yeah, well, it was this absolutely little delightful moment at the garden party this week with a young disabled boy. Watch this.
I think it's better on you than me.
Let's have a look, Tony. For a quick picture, Tony.
Little big baskets.
Yeah.
So good. He's not too bad. I can see what you're doing. You're not? Yes. I can see you. I don't know why we couldn't find you. And I said, look, there's the tea tag, that's probably where you're going to be.
Just so lovely, wasn't it, Tash? And I think there's a lot of truth spoken in jest when he said, "It looks much better on you than me." Oh, he means that, Tash. He doesn't like the top hat. He doesn't like the formality of these types of events, does he? But they looked superb.
No.
Meghan Markle has been at the center of media attention for many years, and public discussions about her personal life, pregnancy, and family decisions have often been highly scrutinized. Some narratives, like the so-called Moonbump theory, have circulated online for years, often gaining traction through social media and opinion columns rather than verified sources. According to recent reports, Liz Jones, a columnist known for her provocative opinions, has called for Meghan Markle to come clean regarding her pregnancy, alleging deception. The video highlights this as a major talking point, presenting it as a controversy that has reignited public debate. It is crucial to note that the Moonbump theory remains entirely unverified. There is no confirmed evidence to support claims that Meghan Markle faked or exaggerated her pregnancy. Much of the discussion around this topic comes from opinion pieces and commentary rather than credible sources. The video uses dramatic language, such as deception and come clean, to create a sense of urgency and controversy. This framing is designed to capture attention and drive engagement, but it does not necessarily reflect verified facts or official confirmation. At this time, there is no credible proof of wrongdoing on Meghan Markle's part. While commentators like Liz Jones may express strong opinions, it is important for viewers to differentiate between speculation and verified information. Public perception of Meghan Markle is often influenced by a combination of media coverage, social media discussions, and commentary pieces. This can amplify certain narratives, making unverified claims appear more credible than they are. This controversy highlights a larger trend in media coverage of high-profile public figures, where dramatic claims are often presented in a way that encourages debate and engagement, regardless of whether there is factual support. It is important to remember that public figures like Meghan Markle live under intense scrutiny, and speculative claims, especially about personal matters, can have real-world consequences. Approaching such stories critically is essential. So, while headlines may demand that Meghan come clean, the verified facts suggest that this controversy is largely driven by opinion, speculation, and dramatization rather than evidence. What do you think? Is this a legitimate controversy, or is it sensationalized for attention? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more balanced royal news and analysis.